our warm up, actually, before we jump into jazz, I think we're gonna start with something fun. So this is gonna be a headphone one. You got your headphones?
Yeah. By the way, I don't have my jazz sheet.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Oh, you didn't. It wasn't in your thing. I thought it was.
Can you lift the leg on your chair? You are on top of my cable. Yep.
I have my iPod connected to my headphones.
Oh, I gotta be careful of that, or we're gonna have to. All right.
We can all plug the headphones in the iPod.
Nope, because I'm picking the song.
All you have to do, you don't have to use your white because this is circle.
Put your iPod in your
Put the iPod
in your backpack. I don't want to lose that.
Where's it black? Let me turn it on for you, cause.
No, I'm not using the iPod.
Oh, never mind. I have Magical Romance on.
Put it in your backpack so you don't forget it.
Okay. So, hold on. All right. So this is going to be a creative warm-up, okay? I'm going to put on a song, very popular song, but very spacious, meaning there's a lot of room, okay? So because there's so much room, what do you think I want you to do?
Just try to embellish.
So I want you to listen to what's going on. I want you to be able to grab what's happening. It's simple. I think you'll get it pretty quick.
What song is it?
You will see.
Sweet Caroline? It's literally so popular at our school.
I mean, that would meet the requirements, but okay. So, ton of empty space. Listen to it for a bit. Jump in and embellish. Okay. So think of how the rhythm feels. Does it swing? Is it straight? let's talk about that a little bit. What'd you think?
It was horrible.
It was horrible?
Yeah,
Why?
because I didn't catch everything. And I
That-
gotta be my own worst critic.
Okay, I understand that mentality more than you might expect. But were you expected to catch everything?
No.
No. When should you catch things? When you've never heard a song before. I mean, maybe you've heard that before. I demoed that song years ago, so you might have watched me play it. But
No, I know the first part.
so okay. But if you don't know that hits are coming up, when is it excusable to miss them, and when is it beneficial to, or when is it most likely that you'll catch them?
When I've done it, when it's come up a lot.
Yeah,
And
so when it
comes up.
repeats. So, for example, do da 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 da, right? You were catching those. Why?
Because they came up like
Rep-
18 times.
Repetition. You're listening. Okay. As far as the near the end, there was rap ba 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 do do da do boom. You didn't catch that, but did that come up again? No, it was at the very end of the song. So you're not gonna get docked for not catching things like that. You know, try to grab what you can, which you heard that there was a big moment for a fill there, and you went for a fill, which is about as much as you're gonna catch, not knowing how it goes. Okay? So, what else?
Was that song?
Hmm?
What was that song?
That song's called Uptown Funk. It was super, super big, like, what, was it 10 years ago at this point? How long ago
Probably.
was it?
You
Jeez.
said popular song. I
Yeah.
thought you meant like now.
Oh, well, it just was, it made me think of it while I was in the other room and you were warming up on your own.
Why?
Because you were playing that sort of, kind of a funk pattern. A lot of double pedal in there, but still. That kind of stuff. So that was what jogged my memory, but yeah, not that it's current anymore. What else? What are other thoughts?
None.
None? Okay. Then what about dynamics? How'd you feel about dynamics?
Too heavy.
Too heavy?
Too rockish.
Okay. Were there good times though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of. Maybe. No.
There was one that I yelled out. Why would I have yelled out over dynamics?
Well, you yelled out? I thought you said good.
Well, yelled out good, or I liked that, or I don't know what it was
I
that I
think
yelled out, but I yelled out
as
something.
being bad.
Oh, not yelled at, but
Yelled out like
sorry, I called out. So, do you remember what you had done? Why that got my
Caught a
attention?
fill?
Nope.
I don't know.
It was a section that came way down, and you heard it and you came down. You built back up pretty quick, but you heard that the volume came down and you came down. So good. So you need to react not just to what the other musicians are playing, but at what volume they're playing, right? How did you feel about staying on tempo?
I feel like that was like 9% correct.
Yeah, I think you were on top of it. What about feel?
Feel?
Mm-hmm. So if I were playing a rock song, heavy rock,
Yeah.
and I was playing, no, that's the wrong feel.
Yeah,
Right?
it was more like rock.
Yeah, it was kind of rock, but it was also kind of what?
Punk. Rock, punk.
I would not call it
Metal.
punk or metal. Oh, you're talking about what you played?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I play.
I didn't hear any punk in there, but I heard some metal fills, and you were definitely playing it like a hard rock song. What did you think the track was? What would you call the song?
A demo.
A demo?
You said you demoed it.
I demoed it. That doesn't mean the song itself is a demo.
I thought you demoed it on your phone. That's the demo.
No. What kind of style would you call it?
Funk.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's in the name. Uptown
helps.
Funk.
That helps. Yeah. So kind of funk, kind of rock. So you can get away with a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
If I were to have you do it again, what would you change?
I'd change the fact that I didn't know anything about the song.
Okay,
'Cause then I know
that's part of it. But what would you change about your playing? Rather than just I know more, so
I'd
maybe
play softer.
Okay, softer. Anything else?
Nah.
No.
That's it.
Okay. So, I want to talk about two things. So first of all, I thought you did a pretty good job. I thought a lot of the ideas that you used were very creative. Some turned out really well. Okay. The thing I want to talk about though is consistency. Okay. So what I mean by that, go ahead and swap with me real quick. Is you have the bravery to try things that are new, but you don't quite inhibit to things that you know that you can pull off, right? So you're playing a groove, and I might play the groove. Right? Something like that, right? But what I'm hearing from you is... So, are you still hitting your downbeats? Yeah, you were. So you were still mostly staying in time, but you were kind of going for these flutters and these little combos that weren't really lining up clean. So if you want to go for that kind of stuff, cool. Cool. You want to do stuff that's more tom heavy? Yeah, pretty crazy, right? But you can kind of add that stuff in there or whatever, but we want to avoid the as much of the chaos. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Kind of.
So there's magic to what people call chopping in the groove. Okay, so it means that you're doing things that are fancy, that are interesting, but without breaking groove. Because, I mean, the whole song is... Yeah, for the most part. It's 4 on the floor. That's pretty much the whole song. So, how can you do things that are interesting without... You know what I mean? You're boom, 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 you're jumping back and forth, but you could... Stuff I'm still that's my priority, right? So you're still making sure that the groove is intact while embellishing all this extra stuff.
Yeah. You
can even, if you had to come off of the hat, right? You can still do some stuff on the toms, but you can keep your groove intact. And so that would be another way to have more finesse about the same thing. Is this getting too much for your brain? Are you starting to or are you understanding most of what I'm talking about?
Right in between those.
Okay. Because it was an exercise in creativity, and that was what you gave me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pushed.
That's what
and
you said.
Yes.
Creativity exercise, so creativity.
Yep, and you did. So for anything that you lashed out at and it did not end up good, you're not in trouble for that, right? That's literally the point of a creativity exercise, is to go for things that you don't think that you can land, see if you can get it or whatever. But for the most part, I want you to think about what are verse style patterns and what are chorus style patterns, right? I was kind of talking with another student about this, and the way that it kind of made sense to him is the idea of, have you ever had the difference between smooth and chunky peanut butter?
I've never even had chunky peanut butter.
Okay, so chunky peanut butter tends to have like the peanuts actually in it. It's a little bit lumpier. Oh, it sounds good, huh? But what I would say is that a smooth fill is going to be something that keeps the integrity of your groove. A chunky fill is oftentimes what you're doing in order to bridge the gap between sections. Okay?
Like a chunky fill is...
So, let's put the headphones back on. I'm not going to play the whole thing. but I'm gonna play little snippets, and I'm gonna show you the difference between like a smooth and chunky embellishments or fills. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh,
Cool.
copyright.
Wait, is copyright?
I'm just kidding. Please go into the headphones.
It came into mine.
Oh, is it just mine? No, then
doesn't
why
come
are
into
we
mine.
coming out of
It's
my
coming
phone?
into mine now. Wait, Bruno Mars?
There we go. Don't worry about watching the video. See, I'm still keeping the integrity. Here we go. This is. That was chunky. We went to a new section. Right? That was chunkier. I broke groove. Did you notice my volume? How I came down? Volume, right? That's part of it. Chunky, right? Smooth. Smooth. Chunky. Right? I'm keeping the groove. I can put some metal in there. So I didn't plan to go the whole time, but could you feel You can feel the difference between the two, right?
Yeah.
Kind of fun. So you can think about, instead of just thinking fill, what I want to do, you can have little like flavors of fill. You know, if you want a PB&J, maybe it's grape jelly, maybe it's raspberry jelly, maybe it's strawberry.
Maybe it's thick peanut butter,
Smooth peanut butter,
creamy.
chunky. You could use Nutella instead. There's all kinds of different stuff that you can do to have basically the same sandwich, right?
I mean, I could just combine all those jelly.
That's true, you can. But I think you're advanced enough that you can start to understand the difference between a fill that's slamming and a fill that's kind of light.
I think anyone would, right?
Well, you.
I feel it's slamming.
Well, even so, it doesn't. There's all kinds of like flavor choices, right? If you're playing a groove. Nobody liked that. However, yeah, little things. You can make small fills for low sections. You can have big fills for big sections. They're smooth, they keep the integrity of the groove while you're in the verse, but when you go from verse to chorus, make it big. When you go from chorus to verse, bring it down, but it's still chunky, right? Yeah. You saw it every time. Right? That's not... Once again, that's silly, right?
You can do that into the chorus.
Yeah, you can go big like that into the chorus. The only caveat, I guess, is if you're trying to deliberately fake people out. Like, there's a sneaky thing in there, but that's a different kind of, again, that's a kind of flavor that you want. But you want, from verse to chorus, you want your fills to build energy. From your chorus to verse, you want to bring the energy down. You want your fills to match the energy of what passage of the song that you're on. And then if you're grooving, you don't want to break your groove until it's time to move to a new section. And then you can totally break groove. That's when you pull out all those, like, right? These kind of weird, pull you off of the, right? Those kinds of things. Those are fives, right? Ryan's favorite.
Keep track of that.
Yeah. So you can do those kinds of things when you're moving to a new section because you you can do when you move from one section to another section because there's a big break there. It's time for you to fill in and do stuff, right? But if you do too much of that, I know, I thought I'd just throw that in there for funsies.
Yeah, just did that. Mason.
Yeah, Mason, the whole time I'm talking, he's spinning his sticks around. But he's getting good at it because he's doing it all the time. So.
Yeah, I'm saying after I do my songs, I'm going to focus on tricks.
I don't think that's wise. I think you can do tricks when you're not doing other things. If you're still listening to me, you can practice. Like, I could have a conversation with you and still spin my sticks at the same time because it doesn't use that much of my brain power. But, like
right now you're focused on flipping the stick.
Yeah, when you get focused on flipping the stick, you're going to be less focused on what I'm saying. And that's the problem that I have with Mason sometimes. So, a good one is if there's a down activity, say you're watching a TV show or some kind of thing like that. Maybe you're kind of bored and you don't have the energy to run around outside, but you still want to do something. That's a good time for it.
I always have the energy to go outside, or I just sit on the couch and read.
Well, yeah. So during those kinds of moments, you can spend some time working on those. You can do it in the car.
How do you do that backward one where you go from finger to finger?
This one? I don't recommend this one. It's cool, but it took me a long time to learn, and the audience most of the time can't tell the difference between that and this. It's way safer and takes way less time to learn.
Yeah,
This one took forever,
but you
and
creep
most of the time they
down
don't even
on the
notice.
stick when you do that.
A little bit, but if I
like,
do this, the same thing happens, and eventually it starts to kind of get away from me. I've gotten better at it, but I can feel it wanting to pull out of my fingers.
All I can do is like at most a stick, but when I'm in open space, I can.
Those are good too.
Yeah.
If you do want to practice that, this better be dessert though, okay? If I'm gonna give it to you, you're gonna use this as a dessert for your practice. Don't start with this. You end your practice with
I'm
this.
gonna do this
Okay?
after I do
Saying,
the
listen to what
flip.
he's telling you.
Okay,
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna show you the same one I showed Mason. You ready? All it is. And he's just practiced that. He can almost he can get it sometimes. He's not consistent about it every time, but he's been practicing, so he's getting better at it. It's just that.
I will do that.
I
as
do
dessert.
tons of those. Any time that you end with a snare on 4, it's a good time to use it. That was a lazy one. I got it still, but any kind of thing like that.
It looks like you already said this. It looks like the.
Yeah, it looks like I'm bouncing it off the snare, but I'm really not. I'm jamming and then I'm flipping it with my...
Yeah, I've tried to flip it off the snare and it went over my head.
Oh, don't go flipping off anything. Alright. So, how do we feel about it now? You feel like you learned some stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah? If we tried it again, do you think you'd have some new ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we want to go for stuff that isn't quite so insane ambitious. I still want to hear like a good, consistent groove, right?
Okay.
So, tell you what, you can go for the really ambitious stuff a couple times in a song. Because if it doesn't land, oh well. I had one of those, right? I had a fill that really came out kind of gross, and I kind of went, ugh. It happens. It's, no big deal. So, do that, but pay attention to your dynamics. Go soft, go loud. Verse to chorus goes which direction? Up or down? Big fill or small fill? Goes up. Big fill. Chorus to verse?
Down.
All the way.
I don't know what's the verse again on the song?
So
It's the least,
chorus is gonna be that
Don't believe it's just fine or something.
yeah, that whole part. When you would move over to the ride, that's gonna be your big chorus. Don't believe me, just watch. That whole thing.
That's it.
Verse is gonna be the lower stuff.
Don't believe it's just wine. Don't believe it's just wine.
It's full
Huh.
one. We'll go with that.
Don't believe it's just wine.
Okay, so run it again, and I want you to turn your big boy brain on. So the last one was just about making any decision that you wanted. It could be as crazy as you wanted. This time, we're going to try to make informed decisions. So
Okay.
you're going to pick things that you think work well for where you're at. Okay? All right, let's do it again.
Your hi-hat's almost touching this. It's okay, great. So,
Ready?
yeah.
That's cool. right, big last chorus, and then just the floodgates. Everything you had been holding back.
I wanted to go for the
All these
I
little...
wanted to go for the. I cannot do it with my left hand. I can't.
Practice.
Just takes practice.
I can't.
That one I can do with both hands, but I can't do this with my left hand because I didn't
Oh,
practice
can
it
you
with
do
my
the
left hand.
backward flip?
Yeah, but not consistently. Not reliably enough that I would use it on stage.
I can.
How do you feel about that one?
It was a little better.
It's a little better. In what ways?
I kind of got more of a grip
More of a grip?
of the song.
Okay, sure. So obviously, other than knowing the song a little bit better, what other choices, did you make any choices that you liked?
Kinda.
Kinda?
Like what?
Like, I was quiet when I saw you go like this.
Yeah. Yep. Eventually, you won't need me to remind you. You'll just hear that the song went down, and you'll go down. So my biggest concern is that your soft is so loud that then by the time you get to the like super high part of the song, there's nowhere else really to go other than to just try to slam so hard you're gonna snap your sticks in half. But
I have.
there's value in just being super soft. What I'm waiting for one of these days is to see a section so soft that you switch to cross stick all on your own. You decide that.
I did that in Monsters.
You know, things like that. Very small. Very soft, right? I'm not even playing, I'm playing softer than you're soft. Whoa. That's a weird flavor for sure. But it's fine. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. There was one thing that I heard over and over and over throughout the song, and I think this would have constituted what I would call your theme. What do you think that would be? What was one thing that you played over and over and over again? The initials are KK. Only two though.
Not taking that test right now. You're good.
I heard a lot of that.
I don't know.
Over there.
Kicking.
You did it here.
Kicking kink.
King Kong. Kicking King?
What is that?
King Kong, right? You remember that from before? That was one of the first funk grooves that I showed you. Kicking Kids. Well,
Kings.
okay, I was gonna say I can't recommend that one.
Do what?
I can't recommend Kicking Kids. I don't like that one.
I'm a kid.
Yeah.
No, not really. No, I'm not really a kid. I look
Yes,
more
you
like
are.
a teenager.
You're not even close.
How old are
Not
you?
short.
How old are you?
9.
Exactly.
Well, 10's when you're
Not
in your
even
preteen.
close to teen. No, it's not.
Yes,
Get
that's
out of here.
13.
double digits.
Get out of
13.
Double digits start here.
You were 9/13ths of the way.
No, I'm not.
here.
When you hit your preteens, I did not say teens. I said
No, you said teens. I got it on camera.
preteens. So preteens.
All
Next
right.
year I'm gonna
Okay.
be
Well,
preteen.
Tell you what. Talk to me when you're 12, and we'll talk about
10.
it.
I'm gonna be a
Preteen.
preteen. You start with your double digits. You start with your
That
triple
sounds
digits.
that sounds like double digits.
What?
Anyway, I don't want to use more lesson time. So, yeah, I thought that your groove was more consistent, so you had less of those like wobbly boom, got. He's kind of, woo, I'm not sure he's gonna land. Oh, he did. Okay, good. Less of those, you know, keeping it together. There was one section where you kind of moved over to toms a little bit while you were still
Yeah.
playing.
I did.
Little things like that. It's nice. That was a little more ambitious. getting creative is to have a couple licks in mind that you feel like show your stuff, but that you can pull off every time. You know what some of mine are.
What? Oh, buzzes.
Dad knows what some of mine are.
I got the buzzes from you. This is loose, by the way.
Bubba's.
Don't worry about it.
I got my buzzes from you.
There's certain fills that if you were listening to random drummers and I played a certain fill, you would recognize that to be me. The buzz thing is also one of those things that I do. I do that a lot.
I remember I got that from you.
Yeah.
You were just...
I do it a lot when I'm playing jazz.
I
those little buzzes. So, have a couple. Work them out. Have a couple like signature fills, I guess you could say. Right? Yep, sure.
I tried. I got
works.
close.
That's one that you can pull off consistently in a song, and it'll go well. One of the ones that you hear from me all the time. What about this one? I love how this one sounds. I love that one. So I'll do fancy little things with it. I'll do bars, or doing some harmonic like bass rolls with it to give it kind of an off feel. Okay. But have some of those. There's another one that I really like.
I can't.
That's a paradiddle diddle. Paradiddle diddle. Paradiddle diddle. They're just two paradiddle diddles. Can you kind of hear the purdy in it? You can kind of hear the purdy a little bit, huh?
How do you do the blues?
No, did you hear it? It's because the paradiddle diddle creates kind of a shuffle effect. Right? So, that's another one of those ones that I really like to use.
You can get your sticks to bounce so good when I can't.
Here's another trick, and we've talked about this before. Compare. Okay, you adjust it a little bit, but when you're playing...
No, You want me to like play up here?
Oh, man, the exaggeration thing that we talk about?
You know that I didn't say that. But I don't want you to play with the butts of the stick in your hand.
Like.
So first off, your stick bounces better. Look at this. So no assistance from me. If I hold it back here, that's how many bounces I get. Now if I go up here, that's no assistance. I'm not assisting it at all. That's entirely gravity. So you're gonna bounce better doing that. Just straight up.
Like this?
That's already gonna make a big difference. You also tend to play like a crusher, meaning that instead of playing here, you're playing here. You won't bounce as much. If I try to do that, it doesn't bounce the same as with the tips. You can feel it, right? Can you feel the difference? Do your doubles on the top, and then go to steady. You can feel it, huh?
I'm just trying to keep the same beat.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's good that you're trying to keep it. But it's definitely harder to do it here You're not going to bounce as much. So you will have a speed. You will have a speed up here that you will not have down here. Your top speed. You won't. You won't be able to reach it on the shank because it won't bounce as much. So it's just in the way that I hold the stick, in the way that I use my fingers, the way that I stylize things. You are primed for power.
Yeah.
I don't play like that. That's a spittle thing too. The Spittles all do that. I mean, I don't know that they hold it way back here, but they.
Spittles?
Yeah, Bobby and John. They're some friends of ours. They play with. Bobby came in here one time to just when I was first meeting him to hang out. He snapped one of my sticks in about 35, 40 seconds. It was not even a full minute. It just and it just, oh, sorry. But it was, you know, it's okay. But that's power. But the difference is that they're professionals. So when they're asked to not play with that kind of power,
they can't.
They bring it down. I've been watching some of Bobby's latest stuff. He's doing great. Yeah, but it's good to be able to have that kind of control.
Yeah. Because
I've had gigs, Cash Cats gigs specifically, when I was playing with them a lot, that were very, very small. Imagine playing this way for like an hour and a half.
At the end of the hour, I lose my mind and I just...
You would be at the end of the first bar.
It's tough.
Me at the end of first bar.
It's tough to have the self-control for that. Okay? But I figure that you're big enough that we can have these kinds of talks. Okay? So, I think that pretty much, yeah, and I don't think we've got time for jazz today. That's okay. We've taken a little break from it. You can work on it some more at home, because I think we're getting near the end of the 4-bar anyway.
I've been doing this every time.
Or 2 bars, right?
4 bar.
We're on 4-bar? Yeah, okay.
I've been doing it with quarters and upbeats.
Good.
On the ends.
Oh, you're doing, okay, the rock and bass drum thing too. Cool.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Good. Have you been doing jazz?
Yep.
Good.
I've been doing both of them.
Good. Sounds good. Okay, so how about let's do that, let's add that this week too. This is going to be the fun dessert exercise, okay? So you've got your books, you've got your jazz, and you've got your rock and bass drum, okay? For dessert, I want you to just play around, get creative, and come up with a cool fill and run it again and again and again and again until you feel like that's a Zane fill. You can pull it out anywhere.
I'm gonna...
Okay, that is one that I gave you. That's cool.
I do half stick flips.
Okay.
And I
That's
cut
not
Here's
part
the
of
deal,
the fill.
though. That's one that I gave you. That's cool. By all means. Not what I'm talking. Not what I'm talking. But that's cool. Take that, put it in your pocket, use it. Good. I like it. This is different though. Okay? This is a separate thing.
Yeah.
I want you to come up with one.
like this.
Come up with something.
Like
It doesn't matter what it is, but come up with something that you can replicate exactly the same every time. The fill. I saw one online the other day, and I heard it, and I was like, yo, that sounds so cool. So I worked it out over and over and over and over again because I wanted to add it. It's still not there yet,
Just do it.
but I thought it was really cool. So I'm going to play, let's see if I can, I haven't worked on it in a week and a half, but no. Groupings of 5. So then when you go fast, all I did was move it. So I was just playing around with that the other day because I was like, that sounds so rad. I was really excited about it, so I used it over on the toms. I mixed them. Because it's the same. It's the same idea as these. They're not even. So because they're not even, there's a little hangnail at the end. brings it back around. And yes, that does line up with the metronome. I practiced it a bunch. So, things like that. If you find them in videos, you can learn them. But make up a thing. Maybe you can use the King Kong. And then try it in different styles. So try to use them in different stuff, but that's just like one that I came up with off the top of my head based off of something that you already know how to do. You can use a rudiment that you like. You like 5-stroke rolls, right? Come up with something that uses your 5-stroke rolls. You can put it on the toms, you can put it on the hat. Right? You got all kinds of stuff that you can come up with, but have fun with that this week. Just be creative and be a monster and come up with something cool.
I have. It's
Yeah?
6s.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I actually invented it. It was
And you're not in 5?
no, 6s.
I'm saying your time signature. Go ahead and show me that one. Let's make sure that that lines up.
Watch.
Give me a tempo. Play. Okay.
So, play it again. Tap.
So, I like it. Maybe start with that one. So what you'll do this week, lock it into a tempo.
I'm gonna go about 100.
Okay. Take that and figure out how to make that fit. So mess around with it on a metronome and find out a way to make that lock into time.
Sounds right.
Okay? If you want to make up a different one, you can make up a different one. If you want to use that one, but you want to lock it into a met, sounds good to me.
I do have a mat at home.
Good.
But it's like
that-
the old kind that you have to...
That one that I was just showing you that I was working on, I ran it to the met for probably 30 minutes. Just to make sure that I came out exactly on time every time. I also, one of the things that I tend to do with those like polyrhythm kind of things is I record myself and listen back to it because there's a difference in the way that I hear it while I'm playing it and like a listener would hear it. So I pull out voice memos and I do that.
Yeah, how many subscribers do you have, by the way?